Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another Anthem video, and today I wanted to go over some of the information that was shared in the recent developer Q&A livestream. Last Friday, executive producer Mark Dara and game director Jonathan Warner gave us a walkthrough of the recent gameplay that I shared with you guys, and then following that, they answered a lot of questions from fans on Twitch, Reddit and Twitter. Some of the information is stuff we've heard before, but some of it was new. So I figured I'd pick out some of the most relevant bits in the event you missed the stream. So here are 12 interesting facts about Anthem that you might have missed. Of course, if you do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to comment down below if you have any questions. Now, kicking things off at number 1 with something that a lot of people have asked about, and this is the damage numbers. Mark actually tweeted the answer to this right after I uploaded my gameplay video last week, but the damage numbers we've seen and have been seeing in gameplay, they can be toggled. One of the main points of feedback off the back of my hands-on time at E3 was that the damage numbers were way too in your face and they needed to be toned down. However, the team went one better and have promised us complete control over these ourselves. In this screenshot, they're temporarily named floaties, but you have the option to completely turn them off if you don't like them, or if you do want them, but you want them to be less intrusive, you can then adjust their opacity and their size. So I myself will probably end up making them relatively small and semi-transparent, so I still have them for reference, because you kind of want to know if you're doing good numbers, but at the same time so that they don't get in the way of the gameplay. But whatever you decide, you'll have options that you can tweak yourself. Next up, number 2, the day and night cycle of the game is synchronized for everyone in the world. The cycle itself isn't real time, it's shorter than that, so you won't find yourself playing at the same time of day all the time depending on where you live, but you will be experiencing the game in the same state or time as other players. This of course helps create a more cohesive feeling for the world that we're ultimately all going to be exploring. Additionally, time of day will result in different enemy types showing up and other world related activities, but this is something they said they'll speak more about at a later date. Moving on from there to number 3, map size. While they haven't commented on the exact map size specifics, one of the questions they answered during the stream does give us a rough idea as to what we're working with. The demo we played at E3, and you saw in that gameplay video, during that demo they're flying over and through one sub-region, and the game has 10 sub-regions in total. However, keep in mind that during the demo, people that were playing at E3 were guided through it, so it was very much a golden line experience. We weren't able to venture out and explore, and as such, we were able to fly through the region much quicker than you normally would. Additionally, something Jonathan Warner said, but in a game like Anthem, it's very difficult to try and convey map size with just numbers alone, since Anthem's map is also incredibly vertical. If you took a top-down view of the map, measured out a sub-region, and then multiplied that by 10, that wouldn't be a true representation of the map size, because many of the areas have varying degrees of verticality. In fact, in the demo we played, you started up pretty high and spent a good portion of it working down through the map, so that's something else to consider. Either way, there should be a fair amount of space to explore. Next up, and still somewhat related, number 4, map exploration. Somebody asked whether we will be able to go wherever we please on the map, or whether it's something that will gradually be revealed to us, unlocked and uncovered as we progress through the campaign. And while yes, you'll obviously be introduced to sub-regions gradually throughout the story, Mark Dara did say that you can go anywhere that you want at any time. To caveat that, he said you probably shouldn't, because chances are you're going to die if you go too far out, at least early on in the game, but you can move between sub-regions if you like. And that's something I'm super happy about. That kind of reminds me of the days back when I used to play World of Warcraft with TwoSixNine, and as low-level players, we used to venture out as far as we could go, avoiding the super high-level enemies, just to see how far we could go and how many outposts we could discover along the way. But either way, yes, you can go wherever you want. It might just not be the best or most sensible thing to do early on. Additionally, number 5, fast travel will also be present in-game. However, as you'd expect, it's something you'll need to unlock first. They didn't give specifics, but I imagine you visit a key location, and it then gets added as a fast travel point. Number 6, they have confirmed that crafting will be in-game. They haven't given us any insight as to exactly what we can craft. Again, this is something they'll likely delve into later on, but they did mention that we'll also be able to harvest plants and other materials around the world, and those materials will feed back into the crafting system. This is really good to hear because it taps into those ambient activities that you can do outside of the main gameplay loop. One of the things that keeps people playing MMOs and other games within that genre is the range of stuff outside of the core experience. Farming, gathering, crafting, that sort of thing. So knowing that you can use your downtime to go and harvest materials for stuff to craft, that's something I can see myself doing if I've, say, got an hour to kill and perhaps want to relax and do something slightly more chilled. Moving on from there to number 7, a bit more info on loot and how it works. I mentioned in passing that loot you collect in the world needs to be decoded when you return to either Fort Tarsis or the Strider. You can't simply pick it up and equip it there and then, and this is still very much the case. However, we also learned from the stream that there's some sort of postal system in Fort Tarsis that will allow you to collect loot that you might have missed or didn't pick up whilst out on a mission. Supposedly, it'll only pick up the rarer items, so if you missed any common loot, then, well, tough luck. But at least for the rarer items, you should be able to pick them up when you return to base. And on the topic of rarity and loot tiers, currently we have common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, and then masterwork. Although they did say a couple of those are still being discussed, but that's loosely what they're working with. So we have some familiar sounding tiers as well as some more high-end stuff that I imagine will be incredibly awesome once you obtain it. And also, the gear you obtain does have random rolls, so there will be incentive to go back out and keep grinding for a better version of your favourite weapon. Number 8, a quick note on flying and overheating. You may have noticed in the gameplay that when you fly, you have a temperature gauge. When this hits max, you'll be forced to land on the ground and cool off before you can begin flying again. This we already know, but further to that, you can fly through a waterfall to cool your jets and continue flying. So provided you can fly from, say, waterfall to waterfall, you could technically speaking extend your flight time indefinitely. Additionally, flying upwards heats up your engines more quickly, meanwhile flying downwards is naturally much less intensive. So these are all things you'll need to consider if you want to maximise your flight time throughout the world. For those of you that want to explore the underwater depths, then number 9, you can drown if you stay in the water too long. Although, rather interestingly, when speaking briefly about the way you spec your pilot, you will be able to pick pilot perks that can help with this aspect of exploration. Perks that allow for both extended flight time and also more time underwater. Then, in at number 10, players have a flare that they can fire off to signal to their team. This factored into the pre-existing emote wheel or menu. We've seen simple emotes like wave, and there will be others, but within this you also have the flare that you can fire off to mark locations, illuminate dark caverns, and of course, communicate with your team. Then, to round things out, a couple more quick notes. Number 11, this has been mentioned before, but since it seems to come up quite a bit in the comments, I wanted to call it out again. Microtransactions. BioWare have confirmed that there will be no loot boxes in this game, and nor will there be any way to buy power. The only stuff they will be selling are cosmetics, and more importantly, you'll always know what you're going to be getting. So if you're going to buy, let's say, a paint job for your Javelin, I'm just making this up as an example, but if that's what you buy, that's what you'll get. It won't be a random loot box where you have a chance to get the item, but instead end up getting something rubbish. This will be direct purchase items. But again, only cosmetic, no power. And then finally, number 12, yes, there will be a demo at some point for players to try before launch, but they have not announced a date for it just yet, so for the time being, keep your eyes peeled for that. But for now, that's pretty much it. Those are the most interesting points shared on the Q&A live stream. Again, if you have any questions, by all means drop them down below, and thank you very much for watching. Take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.